This is TV8 by Gemma, a podcast about entertainment issues brought to you by darkcrazy.com.
This is Marvel Age Star Wars, another special edition where we will talk about The Mandalorian. With me, my name is Sean, but with me is Brooks and Greg, and joining us now is Andrew.
Hello.
In spirit form.
Yes. Andrew also from TV Ate My Dinner.
Yes.
Just like Greg has been on TV Ate My Dinner. So if you're wondering who these guys are, if you've only watched our channel, go check out TV Ate My Dinner. It's a podcast stuff with all of us on it. It's good stuff.
Go to tv8mydinner.com. All that stuff is there.
Yeah.
A world of entertainment opens up to you on TV.
Lots of talk of horror movies here lately.
We just released a video from 2009 of us going through my parents' attic, so you never know now.
Yeah.
What's going to show up.
I thought that was fun.
For the poor Marvel Age Star Wars fans who are like, I just kind of wanted you guys to talk about the comics, and you don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we do, we will.
We do, we will.
Get excited. Yeah. We've been going through the letters column stuff, and we will get back to the
And the comics are like 40 years old. They're not going anywhere. Mandalorian's coming out now, so we kind of got to deal with it. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's fun. Like our attempt to do a week-for-week breakdown of a show.
So this is episode 2 of season 2 that we're talking about.
Yeah,
what's it called?
The
Passenger. I thought it was called The Eggs.
The Eggs.
That's what I would have called it.
I think they should have called it.
Yeah,
I think they should have called it
Excellent Adventure.
I think they should have called it Little Bastard. Because
for baby.
Yeah. Because that kid did nothing but cause trouble the whole episode.
Why frog people went extinct?
He didn't cause trouble. He just ate eggs. That's all he did. What other trouble did he cause?
Ate a race. He's
a
race.
Apparently, there's a lot of controversy about this. I only say that because I've seen a lot of links on, suggested to me to look at where people are like, I'm really upset about this Yoda eating eggs thing.
But to me, I was like, in season 1, he ate a live frog. What's the difference?
Well, because this apparently is like the last of their DNA.
Yeah,
but
you
didn't know that.
It's obviously played for fun. I mean, she didn't even notice.
He doesn't. Yeah, that's
he wasn't
true.
counting them.
She wasn't like when she put them all in the bathtub. She's like, wasn't there more?
It was obviously meant to be funny, and I just took it at that. I didn't get too offended by it.
I don't know. I don't know if we want to save theories till close to the end, but there may be something a little bit more significant there.
Well, let's talk about just what happens in the episode first, then we'll get into the depths.
He did do that Force thing with them,
So we open on Tatooine, which is Brooks's favorite.
I hope we get back to it.
Yeah, we will.
We never stop, no matter where he's going.
That's all we see of Boba Fett. I will feel like that is a ripoff.
We all have vacation homes there now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a timeshare.
Come for the sand and stay for the sand.
Stay for that lady who is not funny to me.
Yeah.
Who he keeps going to, and she's like, "Oh, so now the droids are fixing this." Like she's got that old
with
school
the strangers with candy,
overacting, like variety show acting kind of. Yes. I don't know how to describe it, but anyways, so he's going to go find a new Mandalorian, and the only person that knows where one is, I guess, is this frog lady?
No,
I guess
frog lady didn't know that.
Well, her husband
knew that narrative very much because they're like, well, if you take her to this other place, then he'll like. I seem to be looking for Mandalorians and not finding them. Whereas in last season, I just knew where a bunch of Mandalorians were all over the place.
Well, that's what I've looked at. The storyline is not making a whole lot of sense to me.
I don't know why they were looking for Mandalorian. Why is he looking there?
Because they know somehow where the baby Yoda is from. Even though the one that he's met.
But he's looking for Jedi, right?
Find others and they will help you find blah, blah. But that seems like we could just cut the middleman and I could be looking for Jedis this whole time.
Isn't it feeling kind of like a role-playing game? Where you're just having to like,
that whole first season was like that.
That's what I like about it. I kind of prefer it being that way.
Escort this person to here, and they will give you a clue.
Well, you get a mission, you get a quest giver, and then you do the quest, and you come back to the quest giver again. Like, all right, here's your information.
And you can find a bunch of monsters. Yeah. I love it.
I thought this was a fun episode, but But what we're saying is true. It does not advance the story very much at all. Like, very little actually happens.
Not when you end up with like 8 episodes total. Like, that's
well, and my big criticism, this is the first time ever. I mean, I've heard that in the first season that it was like too simple. I love the starkness of the show, the first season, but this is the first episode, and maybe because last week was good and it was neat and had cool stuff in it, but it was also very straightforward. Where I'm like, I'm starting to want more complexity now. You know, it's like, give me some more characters or something. Like, that's
what I was saying last season too. It's like, don't give me a monster of the week.
I didn't mind it. Like, I maybe I guess 9 episodes or whatever is enough for me. And then I 10th or 11th, I'm like, let's get some other characters in there.
I remember complaining about this last season too. It's like, you know, it's like they just didn't have enough story. You know, like they had sort of a premise that probably, you know, could fill 2 or 3 episodes, and then they had to fill the rest of the season with these little adventures, which is,
I mean, that's by design, though. I think they're just treating it like a Monster of the Week episode.
Yeah, and this is their version,
modern kind of TV show,
right? And this is their version of a bottle episode, basically. Even though it went different places, it's like very contained as far as the principles in it. Like even
mostly
the damn director of the episode is the actress is Dave Filoni too. So it's like you guys have like their acting budget got killed in this episode. They're like, whoever can fill in here, I guess.
That frog lady was expensive. She's been in a lot of stuff. You know, she's an Emmy-nominated, Oscar-winning actress.
Right.
Who's that?
I'm just saying that the cast was expensive because of Frog Lady. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, whoever played her probably is a real actress.
Like, as an actor, I wonder if this is one of those episodes. Because remember, Pedro Pascal said in the first season,
she did the body work for Nick Nolte's character, I think.
Oh, really? The same person?
Serious, yeah.
This is what
I think.
I'm just being funny. I don't have no idea who actually did it.
On another
this is one of the episodes where when there was Pedro Pascal's like, yeah, I'm not going to be in the suit for this one. It's just like, what did he? You know what I mean? Like,
remember we talked about these rumors. I talked to Sean about this. I don't know if it was on this show or.
Yeah, I think the 3 of us were talking about it.
How there was some.
I don't think I buy that rumor though that he left the show. Or
no, I don't think he left the show, but he did say in season 1 that he's in the suit less than you'd think. Sometimes
he's
because
probably
they don't
just
have
doing voiceover now
for a lot of it.
Might as well.
I think he does the acting, but there's so much stunt work.
In that
there's
first
a gun
episode,
guy and there's a stunt guy. There's different guys for different things. Like they have experts who do.
Yeah, there's some
stuff.
You guys talked about this last week, but there's some shots in that first episode where he looks way big. Like in real life, he's about the same build as Timothy Olyphant. But when they show the Mandalorian, he looked big. I'm like, whoa, I don't know what's going on. So I feel like there's got to be a stunt guy in there at this point in some of these. But
so he picks up this or agrees to escort. I don't want to call her a frog lady. This
frog lady. This called her
alien.
What he called her to her face.
There's a lot of racism in the Star Wars universe. Yeah. He just says it wasn't frog.
And a total disregard for animal rights.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So anyway, she has to take her eggs to be fertilized, I guess, or whatever, by her husband, who's on another world and trying to build a life for them on the only world that, you know, is supportive of their kind, which makes me wonder why she's on Tatooine. Why didn't she go to this?
It also makes me wonder, it's not easier for him to just send a jar. Like, I don't know what the process is, but I just
you guys didn't plan this.
I don't want to know.
Instead of bringing all the eggs to you,
this does not seem well planned at all.
Just FedEx it. So many problems in Star Wars could just be fixed by FedEx. Like,
I mean, and she's even like, I'm out of time. We have to go now.
Well, yeah, she literally walked right up to him and said, "You need to save my species." Like, dude, I'm just right here. I just landed here. It's like,
it was her bloodline, not her species.
Well, whatever, but still, you know. But the big twist of this is like what I thought was sort of neat, but I mean, it's like make it is that they can't go. It's all sublight travel too. They can't.
Yeah, for some reason, hyperspeed will kill her babies, which I think. Okay, I mean, I'm not sure what the Star Wars science.
Yeah, I don't know the science of it. I'll accept it. Yeah,
It never seemed to have an effect on people before, but we didn't. They weren't frogs, I guess.
Yeah, they weren't.
So he's transporting her.
A whole lot of babies going into hyperspace. We don't know.
And he gets pulled over by the rebel cops, the Alliance cops, whatever you want to call them now.
New Republic.
And they're all like mad because he doesn't have his tag isn't up to date. You know, He doesn't have his proof of insurance.
It's almost like he was like, man, I kind of wish the Empire was still in charge.
It's like all these regulations
all
and
these-
It is kind of
bureaucracy.
funny how it's almost like returning to a sort of police state.
Yeah.
I didn't used to have that. It's like, well, you do now, or we might blow you out of the sky. It's like, Jesus
Was he
Christ, really?
avoiding them? Did he think that they would arrest him for that prison break situation? I was wondering at first. I'm like,
did recognize him. It was
I mean, they mentioned that after a while, but at first I'm like, why is he?
I think
why
it's
is he
just
freaking out about these guys.
I think it's authority. He just doesn't. He just steers
also
clear of any
used to be
authority.
an outlaw. I mean,
Right.
probably. I mean, that was under Imperial rule, but I mean, he probably didn't have a good reputation.
Yeah,
Well,
he
and he probably doesn't want to
Standing
chance him
warrant.
taking the kid either, right? Like,
Well,
getting
yeah, he'd
captured
have to
and-
explain
Well,
the
that's true,
kid.
too.
He would have to, if they run a background check on them.
Where they would say,
on
well,
something
child
like that.
service is going to take charge of this child
Do you
service.
have papers for this child?
Like, but if any guys you should have asked about the Jedi, it might be the new
It's like,
where they actually
yeah.
had Jedis.
Yeah, really.
So there's a Baby Yoda and a frog lady in your ship. Like put yourself in our
Yeah,
shoes. Make
a pregnant
managerial
frog lady.
decision.
She's got a jar full of eggs. Like, what exactly is going on here?
Yeah.
Look, I'm like a daycare bus. Okay, I'm just taking some people around.
This
Cut me some slack.
this looks bad. You have to move on. This just looks really bad.
Yeah,
I guess
This does
it's
not
true,
fit
yeah, it's
Your
like
reputation.
If he had explained the situation about the Baby Yoda, they could have just called up Luke and Leia.
Maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe he
Yeah,
didn't think
like,
they would.
Luke is out there trying to rebuild
I
the
guess
Jedi
he
Order.
doesn't
He's
have
part
any-
of the New Republic at that point.
He doesn't have any reason to trust them that we've seen, though. We haven't seen him interact with the Alliance at all. For all he knows, Luke and Leia are as bad as everyone else.
They might
What
be
was
another
this?
empire
Is it-
for him? Yeah.
From the sounds of it, he might not even know who Luke and Leia are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well, they certainly don't know that there's operating Jedis because they barely know what the Force is from the fringes where he comes from.
What
They
is
didn't
this?
even know
I forgot from the first season. Is this 6 years past?
something
Return of
like
the
that.
Jedi?
Yeah,
Something
5
like
or
that.
6.
5
Yeah.
or 6, yeah.
It's 5 or 6.
Dark Empire time.
So the X-Wings pull up.
Legends.
He makes a run for it because,
X-Wings pull up.
action.
Whoop, whoop. They-
And it was a pretty cool chase scene. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the action in this. The action in this episode was the best part of the
I
episode,
like the
without a
spider
doubt.
creatures too. I
It
think
was all
Oh
action.
yeah, but that's
basically.
part of the action. We'll get to
It's
that.
all
I'm
action,
saying
yeah.
that's part of the action. Like all the action stuff was great. So he's running away. He
very
ends
reminiscent
up
of
wrecking the
Firefly.
ship.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
episode
that
of
episode.
Firefly? They had
Yeah.
the exact.
Well, the Razor's Edge is very similar in design. Not very
Razor
similar.
Crest.
It really
but
is.
There, but there are inspirations.
Yeah, the Razor
I think,
Crest.
The two big engine things. Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks
it's
a lot
kind
like
of
it.
suspiciously similar in some, not the design, but the
That's
whole
a
story.
Firefly episode where they have the body,
See,
the message.
Firefly influence you see in everything now.
Mhm.
Like Rebels was, that dynamic that they had in Rebels is very similar to Firefly.
Well,
But
yeah,
they're
I
trying
mean,
to
I
capture.
could definitely see like the Mandalorian and the Firefly crew sort of in the same universe. I mean, they
Sure. That
Yeah.
space western kind of thing. That was their vibe too, and that's what the Mandalorian's really going for.
But talking about the chase scene, the space visuals. I don't know what it is about the visuals for space flight in this movie, in this show. They're great. I mean, to
I
me,
did
they
not.
You
Nerd
don't know what
face.
it is? It's called money.
Nerd face time, Sean. I did not like the random camera zooms. They did that in Firefly too, and
I love that.
that's not a
I
Star
like that.
Wars thing though. That took me out of the Star
Not
Wars
really
feel.
Star Wars.
It took me out of the feel of Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's how you do. That's how you do effects on a budget and make them look even better. Is you hide a little bit of you make it
I
handheld.
thought, but it doesn't look real. It doesn't look like a real zoom. It looks like they're
I
trying
think
to.
the Firefly.
And
one
because
does. I
you
don't
know
remember
it's
that
not
this
really in
episode.
space, so when
I
you do
didn't
that
notice that.
zoom in, you're like, I don't know. To me, it takes me out of the action.
When they originally started doing that, people kind of thought of it as like combat footage, like if you were
Yeah.
and
But now it's like when they put a fake lens flare on just to make you think this is a real camera. It's not CG. It bothers me because I see it. I don't want to see anything like that. I just want to see the action and not be seeing effects.
Well,
Was
don't
it
get me
this
started
episode or
about lens
last? I think
flares
it was
again.
actually in last episode where they actually got blood on the camera in a scene.
Yeah.
It might have been
Yeah.
during the Crate Dragon fight, and I remember thinking, because that's not a Star Wars thing either, but I thought that's kind of fun because you don't see that effect as much in movies where they do like a fake flick.
At least
splatter
that,
onto the
you
camera
feel
lens.
probably might have been a real splat. Who knows if it was, but at least
I'm
you can believe
sure
that there'd
it
be a
wasn't.
camera there. There's no camera in space shooting these things. So when they do a quick zoom, you know it's not real.
Yeah, I'm not against it wholesale. Like I liked it in Firefly because it's kind of creative way to do that on a low budget.
No, it's fine on Firefly, but I don't like
Firefly,
it in
they
Star
don't
Wars.
do any sound effects either in space, and they had a whole thing going trying to make it realistic.
Yeah.
But
I did like
I get
that
you.
device.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I didn't actually notice it about this one though. Maybe it's just still part of it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I didn't even notice that we're doing it. So it's
well,
not.
watch it again. You'll not unsee it. Other than that, though, the space stuff was great. I don't understand why he crashed his ship. I know he didn't mean to, but it's like, you got away from those X-Wings, and now you're going to die out here. Good job.
Yeah, got away with extreme prejudice.
Yeah. It's not like a car crash where you can hitchhike to the next town or something. You are on a Hoth-like planet.
I will say
I told you they were going to Hoth.
No, what I heard, I think it was New Rockstars with somebody. I was watching a different video, and they said this is probably the planet from the very first episode. Remember when he goes to that episode and he picks up that Horatio Sands alien?
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Ice planet.
It was a little weird to show him just going through space, and they pull up and they're just in space and there's nothing around, and he's like, "Quick, left turn! There's a planet right there." It's like, where'd the planet come from?
It's always a planet.
Those guys are cruising around.
You're not even going light speed.
The X-Wings are cruising around all of space and sublight, just looking for ships.
Well, it makes more sense that that planet's there because there's probably a base there somewhere, and then they're like just
how Rebels like their ice.
But they never show an establishing shot of that planet, so we don't know where he's running to. And then it's like, oh, there's a planet right there.
Yeah, I think that would have been better. But I mean, now we're nitpicking.
It's amazing to me how
going
tough,
to, but I guess not.
It's amazing to me how tough spaceships are in the Star Wars universe.
Oh yeah, it's like we blew the hole out. We're fine.
Well, I mean, they
close the cockpit door.
Yeah, there's no explosives in these ships either. They get
skid across the ice. In the Star Wars, in the Force Awakens, they were spinning the Millennium Falcon like they were surfing on the sand with it and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough shit.
Real ships would, NASA ships get hit by a speck of paint and they explode.
Well, the point in Star Wars of spaceships is that they're more analogous to like actual ships, like in adventure stories. Like the idea that, you don't go light speed, but you're just going one sector over. It's like, well, that's still like 10 years. Yeah. In our world, that would still be like a 100-year journey without light speed. But they're like, whatever.
It's going to take a couple days.
Over.
Like you might as well get some rest. It's going to take about 8 hours.
Because it doesn't have that kind of physics to it that universe does. You just have to accept that part of it.
Have to throw it up.
Because that's what happens in Empire Strikes Back. They're like, we don't have light speed, so let's just see what's close. Nothing. Nothing's close.
Parsecs being a measure of time. They actually did that again in the first episode. They made mention about something happening in a certain number of parsecs, and they were talking about time. They weren't talking about distance.
Well, they doubled down on it. Well, and
that is just them being goofy then.
Yeah.
Well, but they explained it in Solo though, because it's like the sections of that race.
Yeah, me and Sean talked about that in a different episode. There's a letter someone wrote and the response to it from the Marvel people I thought was great. They were like saying, well, we got the impression from George originally that Han was just BSing. He doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So he's like, I did it in less than 12 parsecs. And then Obi-Wan goes like, like,
all right.
And I like that idea. I never thought about that before, that Han actually, they wasn't a mistake by the writers. Right. Han just doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's like, all right, sure.
I thought that, but then they ruined it in Solo by making it actually
it's like sections of the run as parsec.
Solo inherited that kind of stuff from the old expanded universe because there was.
I'm going to call you Han Solo. It's bad. Those parts are bad.
There's a lot of anytime in Solo they explain something outside of the story of Solo itself.
I like Solo, but that's got to be the worst thing of all
of
all the new Disney movies. That moment is the worst moment of all of them.
But it has the worst. I was going to say this is where you can find the letters column of Star Wars.
Yeah, and you can watch it on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars.
Star Words.
Talking about Star Wars.
Nothing but Star Words. They love it when we do that.
So he not only crashes it then sinks into the snow and falls into some kind of cavern.
And they never once worry that
ship.
They're going to die in that ship. That is what I love about it. They're like, well, I'll have to fix the entire ship.
Well, he kind of does.
Like
He's
in
like
the first season where the Jawas take the ship apart piece by piece. Like, well, I guess I'll just have to put this spaceship back together.
like it's Legos.
And then you know what this episode did? It did something that Game of Thrones never gave us: ice spiders. Remember they talk about it in Game of Thrones, like ice spiders as big as hounds or whatever. Remember that's what the old lady says, and you're like ice spiders.
They're bigger than hounds.
But
so when they
said
sink,
that in the thing.
They mentioned when they sink, he does say something about, it's going to get dropped below freezing. I forget how he puts it, like, when the sun goes down,
Oh, he said, are we gonna survive? Like, well, we'll see when the sun goes down. I was like, yeah.
So he does make it sound like there might be some danger.
I think of anything else,
But then she's like, you need to get up and take care of your responsibilities. He's like, fine. God. And he goes out and just starts preparing it.
Program a robot. Like, why don't you help?
Yeah.
But that's when she takes off to the hot tub immediately.
She's like, I'll be
I'm going to go down to the lobby to the spa, so don't worry about me.
You just keep on working.
Exactly. I'm paying for it. She's a space Karen. I'm the one who's paying for this. You fix the ship.
I didn't pay. You didn't pay for anything.
Well, we made some kind of cockeyed deal.
I guess we charged you with some eggs.
Yeah, really.
Took it out of your cargo.
Go ahead. Let's let Greg get it off his chest, and then we'll talk about the spiders. Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I think
talk about the eggs.
It's just like, to me, I guess a lot of people were kind of feeling it. That it's like, what the hell? I mean, this is supposedly like this woman's kids, and apparently the only way they can carry their line forward is by doing this process that they do.
So you were taking it real seriously.
So what it was? What's your grievance here, Greg?
Well,
I don't know.
Eating the frog eggs. Eating the frog eggs. It's like, he
didn't know that. He's a little rascal. He's a little rapscallion.
He's a baby. Like, I'm going to say that this episode and last episode a little bit too, like this idea that this baby is 50 years old, I think that's bunk. And I think that
he's a little more teenage Groot instead of baby Groot this season.
He's walking around more. He looks slightly bigger. He's more vocal. Like, he's developing. So if he's 50 years old, they had him on ice for 50 years.
He's joined AARP.
Well, all the more reason he should know better.
I thought it was cute.
He's a baby.
They play it for cute.
And
he was popping this
the
lady.
need to eat those eggs, I think, probably like.
But it was cute.
He was
growth
eating
rate
this
means
lady's
he's dumb though. He's dumb.
Progeny.
Kids are dumb.
Popcorn.
I think there's a story element there, though. Like, he has this need to eat because of the growth rate there. Like, I think that's going to come in.
I'm okay with him eating.
See him
I don't know how many young, infants you've hung out with, Greg.
Yeah.
But I don't, it doesn't bother me for a second, the idea that a baby would just pick something up and eat it.
These are there's like goldfish. These
They
are
have
goldfish.
Okay, think about it this way. What if your baby just picked up, walked over and ate a puppy?
Well, our babies can't eat puppies. But if I could believe that a baby could eat a tiny little egg, without thinking about it.
Okay, then,
these are jelly beans.
You find a bluebird nest or something, and the kid eats the egg out of the.
Well, I'd be upset at the kid, but I'm saying it's not the kid's
not
fault.
For moral reasons, though.
It's not something you blame the kid for. They don't know any better.
Again, he's
have much of an ethic.
He eats live frogs before, though. That's more horrific.
And everyone thought that was funny. Well, this is like an unborn frog, and now all of a sudden we have a problem with it.
Well, see, that's more like circle of life type stuff. I mean, this is like
you should wait till it's alive and then.
These are civilized. These aren't just animals.
That's the American way.
These are talking aliens, right? These are civilized. I see where you're coming from, Greg. I really think there's just a tonal thing going on. You're kind of looking at it like we should take this seriously. This is a real baby. I'm thinking
I'm on your side.
The show's kind of a goofy adventure. It's
I think they could have easily just solved that.
Taken that seriously.
I had a huge amount of anxiety every time that baby was near those eggs. I'm not trying to undercut that. I'm just saying that I understand. If Mando is mad at it, it's like, stop telling him no. He doesn't know.
I think they need to put the stakes on it. They could have easily just said, I'm just taking my eggs back. It's the mating season. They didn't have to say it's the last of my line and all that stuff.
Well, then he wouldn't have been motivated to do it.
They need the stakes. It's got to have the stakes.
But that stakes causes this tonal problem if you want to make jokes around and see.
It worked for me. It didn't bother me. I mean, because I
think because if he was eating just frog eggs, if there was a big thing full of frog eggs, That would be okay. Kind of funny.
I think it's the first one. I think you're upset because this is the first episode where I felt like this team was like, he's a little bastard. It's like you start not to like him for the first time. You're like,
yeah,
what a little shit. Like, gee, yeah.
Again, though, if you've hung out with a lot of small children,
but
I know it's that point realistic.
Plus
one of those
this
days you're annoyed at the kid.
But I mean, I guess I think the big thing with me about the eggs is that the frogs eventually become sentient beings.
Yeah,
so,
but
she
didn't even notice. Now, if she had gone, "Oh my God, what am I?" Then I'd have felt worse.
She
didn't even notice. She didn't count them. She didn't. They pull them out of the pool when she's in the hot tub. They're just scooping them into the bucket.
She must have noticed something because there's that one shot later where he looks and she puts her hand over like the latch when they're going to sleep.
Oh, I don't think. Maybe.
You should have done that earlier, lady. This is on you.
Well, they also just left them down there, just in the middle of the floor, not strapped down either. Like, what's going on?
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying they're taking up. They're doing. Handling.
They're not treating it like these are little.
Maybe the frog mom bears some blame too here. That's all I'm saying. She wasn't watching up very closely.
Oh, it's totally her fault. I think it's really her fault. Baby Yoda's gonna do what Baby Yoda does.
Baby Yoda can do no wrong in my mind. I tell you, man, I'm all in. Baby Yoda can do no wrong. He's too cute. I can't
remember
handle
to do or do not.
When he walked up and he's like, I was like, oh.
Yeah. He kind of jumps up too.
Made my heart ache. I'm like, give me that Baby Yoda.
Well, it's a good thing.
And he's coming closer to talking. Like he's getting, like he's developing.
Oh, that's going to be too much if he starts talking.
He's one of these kids that you look at him. So it's a good thing you're cute because it's fun, man.
He's just gonna start popping people's throats all of a sudden. Don't ever say it.
What are you, Greg?
They are dialing back his powers a little bit.
Yeah, he hasn't used them at all. I keep thinking he's going to do something.
I thought he was going to do something with like the life or something, like do something, because he put his hands up and he's like looking at him and then he hit him.
Or like when Mando was getting eaten by the thing, I was like, maybe he'll do something and say, but he didn't do it.
Yeah, he's not even trying. Didn't even put his hand up. He's like, it'll be fine.
You're on your own against the crate dragon.
That's why I like that in the first episode. I love that line where he's about to fight Timothy Oliver. What's the character's name?
Cobb Vanth.
He's just like in front of the kid. He's like, he's seen worse. I love that. It's like, all right. Well,
yeah. He's right.
That kid over there, he eats babies. All right.
Yeah. You got any babies around here,
bitch? Yeah. That's exactly right.
I will eat your babies, bitch.
So, did you guys know that factoid real quick? I just heard it on one of those YouTube. That guy who played the bartender.
Oh, he was in Deadwood.
Was the bartender in Deadwood? That's crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That
what
is
he
really
a Weequay or something?
Weequay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the name of the species? Because when I was a kid, that was the name of the action figure. I didn't know that was like. I thought that was just his name.
And all those guys are like that because they're like those guys are the Nictos. Like I really just thought these were all proper nouns.
Yeah. Anywho. So she's hot tubbing, to warm up the babies, I'm sure. And again, putting her babies in incredible danger because she has no idea what's going on, apparently.
Exactly. And it turns out to be a cave full of spiders. So,
and the minute I saw those, you're thinking like xenomorphs because it totally looks like those egg sacs.
That's exactly what it looks like.
And Baby Yoda, we got to give him a name. The child.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda's better than
he just rips it open and eats it too.
I know. And that I was thinking the same thing. I was like, a facehugger going to come out of that thing or what?
You rock stars had maybe a theory about that. They were like, well, maybe he's not eating those eggs because if you notice, he doesn't use teeth. He just swallows the eggs whole. And he's saving those eggs. Like, I don't think so.
That was actually gross.
I think he ate those eggs.
Yeah, I think it's clearly he was just doing like Rocky.
The only thing
that makes me
think, I will eat your babies, bitch.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me think different about that is that he did that little force pull with them. That like there might be something related, to his powers or something.
Hungry.
About the little.
He probably just jones him for some frog eggs. That's probably.
He's like, get into my belly.
It's a baby.
So did he cause all of them to hatch when he ate that one, or is it just real? That's just coincidence.
Yeah. Well,
that's
kind of right after he did it.
That's kind of weird. Like they were ready to go, and then they heard someone
that's like
get
a
eaten.
weird defense mechanism. Is when they feel threatened, they all just hatch.
Well, my question is, what do they eat?
Kill
normally,
everything.
Though?
That's what I was thinking. They're out on an ice planet with nothing around, and there's a
You know how much pounds of meat you need to support a big spider that big, the big one?
I know. I was like, where are these guys? What do they eat? I mean, there must be something
there's
else.
Probably other monsters on that.
There's
planet.
probably weird Star Wars nutrients.
There's an even bigger monster on that planet.
There's some kind of algae under the surface of the ground that they suck up or something.
Algae that will kill you.
Yeah.
They get attacked by like 1 billion spiders, and that scene was awesome action-wise. It was really freaky. They kept taking it further than I expected them to. Like he's like, okay, we're in the ship. Now we're faced. No, we're not safe. Let's get the cockpit.
Too,
and then he can't shut the door because they're pouring in. That was kind of freaky. I was like, this is kind of scary. If I was a kid, I'd be scared by this.
I wish they did a porg thing, and that one or two
they're everywhere now.
Would just pop up every now and then.
I don't want to see those guys.
That was like a missed opportunity. Rise of Skywalker is that you really expected there to be porgs living on the Millennium Falcon,
like tribbles, just like multiplying everywhere. They go to the rebel base and they're just falling out of the closets and stuff.
Just every now and then, someone goes to get something, you just hear a screaming. Just
in both episodes, they've used the blowtorch pretty well, though. No.
Oh yeah, I was like, why isn't he torching him? Why isn't he?
Torching him? He does. He's like, finally torches him.
He's like, well, I just burned the inside of my ship to a crisp.
Yeah, I'm shooting the crap out of it too. Like, I guess that doesn't count for much in Star Wars.
You know, there's a very similar scene in Lost in Space, that movie from the night, like the remake.
Oh yeah,
from the 90s.
I remember that.
The one that Joey was in.
Yeah. Matt LeBlanc, you mean?
Yeah. No, I mean Joey.
It stars Joey.
This is like a fun thing. I told Sean this years ago. I read somewhere, and this is fun. You should do this if you ever see it on TV. Watch that movie and imagine that it's actually Joey in the movie, because he's an actor in the movie in the show Friends. He's an actor, and he goes out for these awful roles, and that's the kind of movie you can imagine he'd be in.
Because Matt LeBlanc with him always has that kind of performance. Yeah, exactly. It's him, and it's not even a monkey; it's a guy in a monkey suit playing. Or something.
So when you watch him, you can pretend that's Joey acting in the movie, and it makes it.
How you doing?
Yeah. Anyways,
Mac and cheese.
So we got these awesome spiders, and they finally kill enough of them, I guess, to get the cockpit shut. But then the huge one comes, and even then I'm like, okay, they're safe. And then the big guy comes and breaks right through the cockpit.
Right. Yeah,
he like pierces the cockpit with his. It's like, good God, they're dead. There's no way out. What are they going to do? And then somehow these 2 rebel pilots kill like all of them. I thought that was a little weird.
Sharpshooters.
Maybe they used their X-wing.
They're no more than 2 meters.
Did they use their X-wing to kill the big one? Because I don't think that
they did. Because when you get out there, they use the rifles. But
yeah, and I thought that was weird. I could see them like X-winging the big one and then getting out and cleaning up with the rifles, Because I don't know, that seemed weird. I actually had a theory.
Actually, it was fun to me. It would be fun to take a blaster and like shoot spiders with it.
It would be until they swarmed over your ship like they were Mando.
It'd be fun to do in a game.
They just I mean, poor Mando was just running, and he was shooting them. They were all over him, not non-relenting. They didn't care they were getting shot. But when these guys shoot them, they just ignore them. It would have been cool if they had just swarmed over the X-wings and they had to like.
And they killed those 2 guys.
Yeah, they're like, problem solved.
And then
it will take one of those ships.
Baby Yoda goes there and there's eating the corpse a little bit.
Their whole head in his mouth.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool. The final episode of the Mandalorian.
Did they leave all that crate?
Somehow they blast all of them, even the ones on the inside, I guess, or did he burn all the ones on the outside?
I think they ran outside. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be scared to death if I was Mando. He's out fixing the ship. I'd be like, I'd be checking every corner, looking under everything, because you have a real spider in your house and you can't get it. It runs under the couch.
You ever see
You're terrified for the rest of the day.
And you lose track of it,
and you're like, I don't know where he is. Those guys,
we gotta move.
So the scene right after that is what troubles me, though, is because they have a whole big thing where they're saying, "Hey, you're this. You didn't tell us you saved these people and did this, and you're the hero." Blah blah blah. You're like, and then they're like, and he's like, "Well, you could help me out." They're like, "No, thanks, bye." They're like leaving him to die.
How about we don't put you in jail?
I was like, "You're welcome, bye." They step on his head as they walk away.
Get that tag renewed.
Will you please just go lay out my navy blue suit for the morning, please? How about if I lay you out? Very well.
Yeah, I was like, his ship is total.
That's a South Park thing. You know what sucks about being a Baldwin? Nothing. Sucks about being an X-wing pilot. And they just off.
Yeah, we're off the clock. Bye. But at least they saved him to leave him there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't give him like anything, or I was like,
they could have given him a number to call, right? They could have given him some AAA or something.
Roadside assistance. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
that's what I mean. In Star Wars, they figure you having a broken spaceship, and they figure that's a problem anybody can solve.
It seems like it's just like a car breaks down. It's not like not like you're out in.
And I guess
the
that's
wilds of space,
because that's probably the way
if you were in the middle of Wisconsin,
well, but it's different though because he
help you.
But he actively petitioned for their help. That's my point. He's like, "Can you guys help me?" Like, yeah, none of this.
I don't feel like lifting any heavy hull plates right now.
Yeah, we like shooting stuff.
How about you help me save these babies? How about you fuck yourself?
You see these hands? These are pilot hands. These aren't hammer hands.
We got to go to the pilot lounge now. We're off.
I didn't spend 8 years in pilot school to hammer holes together for vagabonds like you. Clean this mess up. Throws a towel at him with all the spike guts everywhere.
But talking about the spaceships being so easy to repair, I bet that probably comes from George Lucas because I think that's the way he looked at them, was like just cars, you know.
I mean, he treats them that way. I mean, Sean was right. They're just islands.
You always need that. Yeah, you just need the one like welder gun they always use and everything.
Yeah, just,
like that.
Yeah, and you can just patch them up.
Yeah,
which is what he does. He like pressurizes a completely compromised part of the ship in like an hour. He's like,
and they barely take
here, but it's fine.
I guess he had another pane of glass to just sit on top of that other one.
Well, it's transparent steel.
Of course.
I thought that was. God. Is it transparent steel in Star Wars? I thought that was Star Trek.
No,
that's transparent aluminum.
They have transparent aluminum. It's transparent steel.
Have we taught you nothing?
They called steel in Star Wars.
Transparent steel.
That's what they called it in the role-playing game. I don't know if it was valid before that or anywhere else.
The role-playing game created a lot of that stuff because those became the source books that they used.
Yeah. And it's funny, they were just making stuff up for the game. They're like, God, how does it survive space and lasers? It's, I don't know, it's transparent steel. It's like, okay, write that down. And then like 20 years later, like, well,
you'll still see that pull out a vibro blade. Like,
yeah.
You were complaining about the speeder, but I'm pretty sure what he was flying in that last episode was a swoop.
Yeah.
Well, swoops, they had those in the novels too.
Well, yeah, they actually, I think where did I see that? Where like there was
Dash Rendar had one or somebody, didn't he?
Who had this swoop last time?
That guy.
Oh, actually, it was a YouTube video that somebody called the swoop. That was like an Easter egg video I was watching. They called that bike a swoop.
Were those axes that the Gamorreans were using that shot sparks off? Were those vibro blades?
Probably.
Maybe they were, yeah.
Oh, they had like shields though, didn't they? Too, like,
or maybe they were. I think that may have been a new Rockstar's thing too, where they said maybe that's some kind of shielding to keep the games from being
like on Dune or whatever. They had like personal shields or something,
keeps them from killing each other.
I thought he axed the guy's head and just bounced off. That's what it looked like.
Oh, okay.
So it's the opposite.
That's cool
of
too.
vibro blades.
Yeah, well, the Mando did have a vibro blade, didn't he? You know, he pulled it. It was like
yeah, he does have one, and that's like the first time you ever see one in live action. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they blew up the spiders, and then he's like, I got to pressurize the ship, and then they take off, and that's it. That's your story.
Says, we can limp to this next planet. Basically, that's what he says.
Really limp because like the ship, like it's
not even going straight. It's like it's in rough shape.
It's all pitiful. I feel bad for his ship.
It would be fun if the ship were beat to hell for the rest of the season. Yeah.
I mean, it's starting to feel like the Millennium Falcon. It's just falling apart.
Well, God,
it wasn't that nice.
Paid work. You need to stop working for.
And they like the X-wing guys are making fun of it. They're like that antique or whatever. I forget how they put it. That antiquated piece of junk.
It's pre-Empire, right? That's what he says.
Going back
pre-Empire. Wow, so it's like 50 years old at least.
Yeah,
that's what he says when they're like, "Where's your beacon?" So and so. He's like, "This is pre-Imperial or whatever. I don't have a beacon."
According to the role-playing games, that was the thing. Yeah, the X-wing fighters are like a lot older than the TIE fighter.
That's what I was telling Sean, and we were having a discussion about that actually the other day.
It seems like
because I had always thought that X-wings were supposed to be really sophisticated. compared to.
Well, they make new models of them they have like newer.
Yeah,
They were so close in design to the ones in the prequels, so that you could see that they were of the same, lineage as that.
Well, yeah, and if you watch Rebels had a whole big thing about how their big breakthrough was the A-Wing. The A-Wing was the new awesome ship that they got hold of that was superior to like the TIE fighters.
Yeah.
The game changer.
But but then they're back to X-Wings when you get to the
that is a cool
not
moment.
Everyone can have an A-Wing, man.
That
A-Wings
cool
go to the
moment
top cops.
in this episode where they're like, he's like, they're talking to him and they're like, go to channel 2, and they're talking, and then you see the wings go to battle mode or whatever. You're like,
that's a great,
oh crap.
that's a great
What are they?
thing.
The S-foils or whatever they're called.
Yeah, because
Type formation. Yeah.
very much a cop pullover kind of moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I
lights
was
come on.
joking earlier, like,
Jeez.
whoop, whoop. They like do the
Yeah,
siren.
that is the light coming on, like a siren. Like,
I think it would have been cool if they had painted them differently, so they looked like modern.
Yeah, I want to see more
newer
variations,
X-wings,
like Poe Dameron's in that one movie where it's black.
Yeah.
You need to have more variations like that. That'd be cool.
because like police departments, they all have the same basic car, but they paint them differently for each county, right? So you could tell.
Yeah.
There are police in Italy that have Lamborghinis, like actual Lamborghini police cars. Those are the guys in the Rebels that have the A-Wings. The rest of them have X-Wings because, there's not a lot of budget for the Ice Planet Force.
Okay.
Not a lot of action going on in Ice Planet.
Outer Rim.
And that was this, but that
get the surplus X-Wings.
But if they're going by characters, that was the same. One of the guys was the same person who blew up the base in that one episode. It was Dave Filoni playing the pilot both times. It was the same character.
Oh, really?
Remember the episode with Bill Burr where they had the one.
Well, that's part of the reason, that he recognizes him because.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was there.
It's like, wait a minute.
The beacon.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, that makes that seem.
You saved that guard's life, so I'm not going to shoot you down like these spiders.
Like I did that space station. That is funny in that episode where they're like, they launched 2 ships, blow them all up. Like very little negotiation. Like, Jesus, they don't take any chances. Now, could be a new empire. Who knows?
But yeah, who cares?
They make X-Wings look tougher than I thought they were. Even in Rogue One, which my son was watching the other day, AT-ATs are shooting stuff, and they're shooting at them with like rocket launchers. Nothing's happening. Then an X-Wing flies by and just blows the crap out of it. Just like, well, X-Wings are pretty tough, I guess.
Well, they do that in Star Wars is like that too. I mean, Empire Strikes Back. The AT-ATs are very temperamental to their. Like it just falls on the ground and they shoot it in the side again and it blows up. I was like, what did that have to do with anything?
Yeah, why didn't you just do that to begin with? Yeah, that's a dumb scene because
its shields were down.
Yeah.
Why is tripping it to disable its shields?
It's embarrassed now.
It's got an Achilles heel.
Yeah.
It's literally a heel problem.
Yeah.
But I thought during the design phase that would have happened enough to where they would have gone, maybe this whole walking all fours thing, especially since we have repulsor lift technology.
That's what I was thinking. Guys, I don't want to scrap this whole thing, but it would be an even better all-terrain vehicle, one that flies.
I think that the Empire, I like to think of the Empire as like a real government. And they're cutting corners. Because, the X-Wing, the TIE fighters.
And there's like a contractor that the dude knows. Yeah. He's got this really nice walker design.
TIE fighters can't even fly in hyperspace. So it's like, they're not the fanciest thing. They're the cheapest thing to mass produce.
It exerts less energy to be
and soldiers are like, I don't care about stormtroopers. Give them
I think it's more like I think it's more of a psychological shock and awe kind of thing, too. It's more scary to see a big monster.
In Force Awakens, well, actually, the ones in Force Awakens can go to hyperspace too, but the original TIE fighters didn't have an ejection either. That was it.
That's what I'm saying.
Thing about if you got lost from your convoy, you just died in space. That was just what happened if you were.
It's a cost thing. It's not cost effective to build a flying ship when a walking one will do the job most of the time. Until Luke figures out how to fix it. No one else ever figured that out before. And then the Ewoks figure it out too somehow.
Exactly.
Ewoks are the tactical geniuses that no rebels ever come up with.
Well, the rebels, man. One thing George Lucas loves, because the Jedis were exactly like the rebels. There's always one guy who's like, "You can't do it. It's impossible. Why are you here? If you're playing rebels, why are you in the rebellion?"
Negative Nelly.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of sandbagged me there.
Can't be done.
Sandbag you?
It'd be fun. Every time we talk about anything, I'm going to do that. So maybe we should do an episode. Can't be done.
Can't be done.
Not
That's
possible.
The Chiati Mundi. I haven't seen a Sith in 1,000 years. You've never said anything right.
Yeah.
Everything you say is shit.
Have you been around 1,000 years?
Yeah.
Now I've seen everything.
If
Have you ever seen a man eat his own head?
Yeah,
No. Well, then you haven't seen
I haven't
everything.
seen everything.
Give it a kick in the face with a little boot.
It's a good
Never
episode,
happens.
though. I liked it. I liked the action a lot, but I do feel like nothing really happened to advance the overall story.
Yeah, and hopefully now that they get a couple of sort of one-offs out of the way, they'll start building to that story, because I don't want them to be like a big story that's the whole thing. I like that it's episodic. I like that he has these little.
I mean,
adventures.
yeah, if you can. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, you compare to the last time, the first episode, you got all these characters. You know, you got Carl Weathers, you got everybody else. Like, you had a bunch of character introductions in that first few episodes. And this, it's like it's pretty light on the characters.
This
like
episode,
the
for sure.
Well, we got
yeah.
Cobb.
Yeah,
Cobb
the first
Yeah,
episode,
but
we
that's
get
the
Cobb
one.
Face.
I mean, the last time, I don't.
We got Frog Lady.
First episode
Yeah,
was
you
fine
saying
to
she's
me. It
not
was
gonna come
fine
back?
enough. But I think following that with just the even simpler episode is just like, it felt like like the second episode to be just pretty chill. Like, all right, well.
Yeah, like I really thought
they're
Boba
fine.
Fett was going to be on his tail, and maybe he still is. I think it'd be cool to start the next episode with the lady with the curly hair. I don't know her name. The droid lady. The
Amy
pit droid lady.
Sedaris, that's what I'm going to call her. She's Amy Sedaris.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have her like working on something. And she looks up and there's a shadow over her, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like it's Boba Fett. We don't
She
see that,
dies
but we know
instantly.
it's him.
She gets killed.
Well, no, because he's there
and
to
then blood
ask.
hits the sand. And then
He doesn't have to kill her. He's there to interrogate her about where Mando.
No, I wanted her to die. So
Okay, well, she could die after the interrogation.
I wonder
I
what.
kind of feel like
Wouldn't that be
Ming-Na's
cool,
gonna
though?
come into it at some point too. Like
Who?
they got all these Ming-Na's character from
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the first one. Like we said, if that
yeah, they're leaving all these people just out and wandering in Tatooine now.
they're all on Tatooine.
It's like walking away from the camera.
It's a missed opportunity that you went to Tatooine and you didn't meet any of these people who seem very important.
And where's
to
the
narrative.
Imperial guy? Gideon something? That's his real name, isn't it?
I'm
No.
sure he's building up forces or whatever.
Wonder what happened to Slave One, Boba Fett's ship.
It's still
Yeah,
parked
where
out by
was
Jabba's. It's parked at Jabba's.
Well, you can
Probably-
still have it. Maybe
Yeah,
still
I was
have
gonna
it.
say it's an Unkar plots.
That would be a cool reveal.
That's a piece of
I mean, I don't really
garbage.
care about
Yeah.
Slave One or Boba Fett, but that would they didn't show that. I mean, they could have kept that a secret and be show that later on. That'd be kind of fun, I guess.
How long has he been out of the
Well,
Sarlacc?
especially if his spaceship is actually starts falling apart from this, and they do need another spaceship to get by.
Oh, that'd be a
I
little.
like the Razor Crest better than Slave One, though.
I don't
I do
mean
too. Slave One
permanently,
was
I
a
just mean
neat
that would be a fun
design,
thing.
but-
I like the Razor Crest. I'm just saying.
You know what I thought was going to
Thinking
happen?
it was a
I,
writing problem.
I mentioned this theory earlier. It's not important, but when they were in the cockpit, they heard blasters. I thought that she had programmed that droid a little too well, and he had come alive. You know, that it wasn't just because he's like, "Be careful! Don't mess with that droid. It's a killer." You know, what if he had like they were locked in there, spiders are attacking, and then you hear blasters, and they open the door, and he's there with his gun. I thought that's going to be cool, but then it turned out to be the rebels, and which was cool too. But
Yeah, well, that's why I think that's why it all feels. It's fine. I liked it. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the action and stuff. But that's why it feels a little unset because there's nothing about it that advanced anything. It's like it could have been that. You're like, whoa, and then you're looking for it.
yeah,
Like,
and you don't even get
it's
any character development. You don't even get like
It's
a
a
moment
total,
where you
like,
learn about Mando anything.
yeah, if stuff
Really.
happens next time with a bunch of characters, you could cut this episode out. It wouldn't have mattered. You know, you'd be like, okay, who cares? Then we wouldn't have seen the eggs.
What's your theory about the eggs? Just that they were not eating them? Is that what you read or heard?
Well, New Rockstars, they had a theory, yeah, that he was somehow swallowing the eggs to protect them. Like,
No, I don't.
No,
I don't see
they
that.
didn't.
I don't see that at all. I'm pretty sure he ate those eggs.
The way he was sneaking them, he was like,
Yeah, exactly. His body language betrays his intent. Those eggs are not recoverable.
It's like, stop that. Stop that.
"Stop eating the babies."
He stole them. Like
I like Mando's best when he's like exasperated, like in the first episode
Yeah.
where he's like the self-destruct, like, would you stop that, please? He's like, stop, no self-destruct.
I do like that he has
I like that
And
kind of Mal Reynolds kind of flustered anymore thing.
And I love the repair. Well, that's one thing from the first season that we got a little bit more of because he didn't have his fancy armor. But in the first couple episodes of the first season, especially, he was just getting his ass kicked, and things would just tear him to pieces. Like, it's fun to see that because now
he just gets shot and he turns.
Yeah, you have to have something to bring him down, and his relationship with the baby does that, where it humanizes him. Because the thing I always hated about Boba Fett was just a stereotypical badass. Like, everything he does is so badass. He never even does anything. He's just stoic and mouthing off.
Wanted him alive.
And all this. It's like, I could snap your neck right now and no one would care. No one would notice. Yeah,
Mando's existence just negates Boba Fett now from the beginning. Because it's like that painted helmet or this awesome chromed out outfit. This is way better. Way better.
Yeah. I have to say though, when you see the two of them together, though, I do appreciate the original Boba Fett outfit. That beat up look, I actually liked the look of Mando's armor better when it was all beat up in the first season. But I appreciate that he's leveling up as he goes.
But I love his helmet. I want that. I want to get that helmet, the just all metal helmet. His helmet,
just wear it around the house.
Yeah, everywhere. Just wear it out to
well, you got to wear a mask at the store now. Might as well wear a helmet.
Really. That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen anybody. I'm sure there videos exist of people doing that. But I was like, yeah, why not? Let's just wear Darth Vader helmet around everywhere.
Probably not a whole lot of those.
Yeah, that's got its own breathing apparatus too to filter the air. Smart.
Sir.
Yes.
How are you breathing and talking at the same time? That doesn't make any sense.
Here, the cashier, I find the lack of change disturbing. Yeah, I think
the price of these bananas is too high.
Yeah. No.
That's my favorite.
I'm sorry, sir. We're closing early because of COVID.
No.
With the awkward lean back.
No. Yeah.
So what do you think? Good episode?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think they've had a bad episode.
I was
only gives it an okay.
I just they hyped so many people. I mean, I guess we got Timmy Oliphant. That was cool. I like the characters with him. I think it's cool. But they like all these people they're supposed to be in. I mean, I guess we did see Boba Fett too. But I'm just like ready to get some like character interact. Like, what's the plot of the season? I'm ready for that. You know what I mean?
Ashoka's coming.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I want to.
Ahsoka.
Right now, we have 2 episodes that's still like in the first act. You know, we haven't had like an inciting kind of incident yet. We don't know what the season's about yet. I'm like,
it bothers me that all this stuff leaks out because you know that Boba Fett's probably going to be in it, so you look for him. You know that Ahsoka Tano is supposed to be in it, so you look for her. In a way, I wish this information wouldn't get out and we could have fun. And every episode's like, oh, I wanted to be a bigger thing because I heard it's going to be a bigger thing. It's like, watch the show.
Well, it's going to piss me off if Ahsoka shows up in the last scene of the last show.
Yeah, I will not like that.
Just a cameo. You see her walk in the door. No, but like,
that's what you need Luke for.
I think season 1 did the same thing. It started off kind of strong, but then it had a bunch of monster at the week episodes, and then it started pulling it together. I think this will do that too. Yeah, I have confidence in them.
Is it 8 episodes again, right?
I don't know.
I don't know how many.
My advice to anyone watching
now,
it. Okay, go ahead.
There is a Star Trek show and a Star Wars show, and they have new episodes that come out at the same time. Like, that's never happened in my life before.
I guess that's true.
It's a wonderful time.
Star Trek,
it's never been a Star Wars show before.
I actually think Star Trek's pretty good this year, too.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really good.
I haven't seen any of Discovery yet. I don't want to.
I wanted to hear what Greg had to say about it. It's an old school Trekkie.
Well, give with me like, we'll do something like more toward the holidays because I just haven't had a whole lot of time.
I'm just curious.
I think that show gets better every year. I really do. Like,
this year they did a fun thing.
I did watch an episode of Lower Decks, and that show.
Have you? You've never seen any Discovery, Sean?
I didn't like it.
Greg?
What's that?
Any? You've never seen any Discovery, like first 2 seasons?
No, I saw the first 2 seasons. I haven't started.
Well, this one, so you know that, like, you know, it's not a spoiler. This one, what's neat, this isn't spoiler. Just what's neat about it is because it's like in the future, they get to reinvent the whole. Like, this is what I wanted them to do with Star Wars. It's like, let's go in the future 1,000 years.
You don't have to worry about any kind of prequel nonsense.
Well, you can reinvent what the technology is. These are new types of ships now. We don't have X-Wings anymore. There's new types of weapons. It's kind of cool. And they did a great job, too, so far.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
The sentiment of it being more and more like Star Trek in spirit, like they really have gotten that better and better every year. Like,
and of course, when Strange New Worlds comes out, the Captain Pike
I want to
show,
see that
man,
too.
I'm so looking
Unfortunately,
forward to
it's apparently I wouldn't have thought this when you told me all these shows coming up, but I wouldn't have thought that Picard would be the hiccup. But really, Discovery has got
Picard's not.
And Strange New Worlds sounds like just it's a sure thing. Like it's up to you to screw that up.
Discovery, right? Discovery is one of the great shows. It's so much fun to watch because it gets better every episode. Like through the first season, to the second season, through the third.
I didn't know you were a Star Trek guy, Andrew.
I think it's one of those shows that it started from a bad premise. I mean, they, where it was in the timeline and all that, and of course the look of the ship totally mismatching everything that that should be in that time period, and then but they wrote their way out of it.
Yeah, they course corrected in season 2 big time, and now season 3 it's just hit. Some shows it takes them a while to hit a stride, and Discovery's never been bad, but it's hit its stride. I kind of think like Picard, if they keep making those, there's hope for Picard. It's like if you get away from all this weird fanfic nonsense that you guys like to write into this and just write a show, like you might have something.
They did what they always do with. I mean, to me it was like a Next Generation episode 20 years removed, in that like all the stuff happens, but everything ends up hunky dory. Even though he dies, they bring him back and they make him
robot at the end.
Yeah, but he's an android, but they made him exactly like he was before.
Well, it's the dumbest thing. Like, we made you an android, but you're also going to die when you normally would.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Why do any of that?
I like to not make people mad, I guess.
Picard is actually fun.
Just don't make him a robot.
When it says
don't kill him.
Make him a robot at the end. That's the dumbest.
Or you just kill him, and that's how you end the series. Like, they just did a weird thing by killing him.
If they were really cool, like they could have given him like android components, and that might like bring back Borg feelings and stuff like that.
There's a lot they could have done.
But instead, in season 2, they're never going to mention one time that he's a robot.
I thought that Picard was actually pretty good.
They'll just pretend that is not a thing from now on.
I thought it was
exactly right.
I thought that show was not bad for the first half of the season, and then it gets into like a bad Next Generation thing. Yeah, I thought it was like when they're just on that guy's ship and they're kind of like a Firefly crew. I thought that part was kind of fun.
Well, the concept was fun, but if you're going to do that, then you need some characters. All the characters are so dumb. Like, and I don't mean the people, or I just mean. It just, the whole series felt like bad fanfic. Like every character was badly conceived. None of them felt real. None of their relationships felt real. I mean, not that they didn't have any real moments.
Did not make sense for their character at all. It's just...
And for some reason, the ship that they were in was just a big empty room that they were all standing around in. That was so weird to me that they didn't put any thought into the design. Like Firefly is a cool looking ship. Like if you want a Firefly, or if you go into Rebels, the Ghost is a cool looking ship. And then when they go into this ship, this dude ship that's supposed to be their stand-in Enterprise, it's just a big empty dark room. And there's nothing in it, and they're all just kind of standing around, or some of them are sitting around, but it doesn't feel
and there's
Star
not
Trek-y.
even like any kind of tech. I mean, all the technology is just holographic. I mean, so there's not even really anything cool to look at unless somebody's operating something. Yeah.
That's my favorite detail of the season 2 of the Star Trek Discovery. Captain Pike, he's like, because the Enterprise just glitches out on the holographic displays. He's like, just put in the 2D displays from now on. I was like, that's, because you don't see them from that point on. But
what I love
it's pretty awesome.
That season 2 is the design that they have of the Enterprise is so modern, but it's so reminiscent of the old show. Like they incorporate that aesthetic so well into it. I'm like, well, this is what I want the show to be. This is amazing.
I mean,
and they made those shorts.
Well, and the uniforms and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we're going to make that into a show. It's like, that's a no-brainer to me. Mm-hmm. That's an awesome looking show.
And they found that little piece of canon that, people don't know a whole lot about, but I always wondered. And, so it's, I think it's going to be really
explore.
Cool. Yeah.
You could actually play that show out until it evolved into Kirk taking over the Enterprise, and you could actually revisit Kirk Spock's early adventures through that series that way. That would be fun.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know if we did it online or what, but yeah, like if like Ensign Kirk comes in about season 3 or 4, and starts to make a name for himself on the ship,
Well, I think if you want to follow the continuity, though, it wouldn't be that, because Kirk serves he comes onto the Enterprise as the captain. He serves on other ships. But you could play that idea of getting to the point where whatever happens to Pike happens, and then you have this young captain come in with this established crew in this series, and Kirk comes off as sort of the weird underdog, the new boss. That would be a fun dynamic to see. The problem with the J.J. Abrams movie, which I liked, was you guys completely retooled the character of Kirk so that dynamic just isn't there. Where he's like every movie since the 80s has done with every character, the reimagining of the character is always that he's some kind of irreverent badass. Like Kirk was like a book nerd. Like he was a badass as a captain, but I mean, he used to teach classes at Starfleet Academy, and he was a very strict teacher. Like he was a by the book guy. Like he was an intellectual.
Didn't he cheat on his test or whatever though?
To beat it. If you're going to make it unwinnable,
you could say that about any cheating situation. Didn't you cheat on your test? Yeah, to pass.
Yeah, but if you made a test that's impossible to pass, it wouldn't be cheating if somebody found a way to do it.
Well, and like what you said,
Kirk's idea.
Started retooling him into more of a badass, and I think that's kind of where that started. Actually, was where he cheated to beat the test. That like he's a rule breaker, not concerned about.
I don't even watch Star Trek, and I know that, Sean.
The way they do it, though, is wrong, because that's part of Kirk. That's part of Kirk's backstory. Is that?
Yeah, I'm sorry you can't handle him being a badass
scenario. But the way they do it in the movie is so dumb. Like he just sits back, and it's easy to win. I always imagine when they said he did that he created a believable scenario that you could exploit, not that he just subverted the entire program so that
just hacked it or something.
Well, yeah, it's like where's the ingenuity of that? You just. I mean, J.J. Abrams, don't get me started.
The nuance of that would be that he actually found an exploitable element in there that he could turn
that no one ever thought of.
Yeah.
Like he went to the simulator at night and ran it until he finally, figured out how to save the ship. Something like that.
What does God need with a spaceship?
That's the best.
That's the kind of thinking we need. That kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, this show's about Star Wars. We're killing off the vibe. All the people watching now are like, "Oh my God, they're talking about Star Trek."
We're never going to get back to that comic.
Yeah. Now they're going to start reading Star Trek fan fiction now.
I would.
That's not what I think our fans. I don't think our fans sound like that.
Star Trek. They had a Star Trek comic book.
Not from Marvel.
Yes, they did.
I remember DC had one. I don't remember that.
Had one after the motion picture.
Didn't like Gold Key have one or something back in the 60s?
Way back
after the series, and then after the motion picture, Marvel had a series.
I did not know that.
Like 18 issues or something like that. And then after Star Trek 2, DC took it over, and DC had it for a long time after that. Throughout the rest of the movies, DC had it, and then I don't know, probably IDW or somebody's got it now.
Yeah.
Not even IDW. Well, no, maybe it is. I don't know. One of those kind of companies has it. Those companies that specialize in doing licensed books.
Yeah.
You don't see Marvel and DC doing a lot of licensed books nearly as much as they used to.
They don't have to because Disney's buying everything for them.
Well, for Marvel, yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
but that's not licensed. They own the properties. So
that's what I'm saying. They don't have to license anything. They're just buying all the properties already. It's like, I'm thinking about licensing Scooby-Doo. All right, we bought it. It's like, okay.
Well, actually, I think that would be DC because they do own it.
Anywho, I just wanted to get us back to Star Wars.
Well, y'all need to keep doing the comic book episodes, even though
we will. We're having so much fun trying different things.
And it's also been real busy lately, and those are a lot more work intensive to make.
And every video gets like 5 views. Like it's time for us to experiment. We can try things.
Yeah. I'm thankful for our views.
Yeah, I'm
But,
happy too. but
Yeah,
you-
now you just pissed off the 5 people.
No, I'm thankful for the
not
5.
anymore.
Yeah, now you got 0 views.
Now you got 4 views.
Now you owe me views. You're negative views.
I don't think it works that way. And we enjoy
That's what I'm
it.
saying.
I'm glad that we get it when we get any kind of feedback, and you know, everything we do does pick up steam over time. We never pick up a giant base of viewers and listeners, but we get
Hey,
people.
we've met friends through the podcast, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And-
people
and
that we still talk
still
to
do.
years later. So that alone
Yeah.
makes it worth
If
it.
Lynn ever shows up here talking about Mandalorian, she'll be one of them.
Does she? Do they? I guess they have Disney Plus out there. I don't know if there's any regional differences.
They have.
It was for a
now.
while when they first
didn't
released it. It
release
took,
there
like,
at first.
8 months or something.
Because I remember in the UK, people were pissed because Mando came out and there was no way to watch it. And they were like, "What are
Oh,
you doing,
man.
Disney?"
Yeah, that would be dumb because that's inviting piracy.
Well, that's what they said. Like, well, just tell me where I can illegally download it since you haven't given me any legitimate means to watch it.
Yeah.
Good point.
I am curious what
If
Lynn
you give
thinks. But
people a legal way to watch it that's reasonably priced, don't do it. You know?
Yeah, buy
Yeah,
a
just
season
'cause it's
pass for
easier.
$30. It's like
Yeah.
Disney Plus costs $6. Why am I going to pay $30 for one season of one show? I'm not saying that's what they charge, but I mean, it used to be in
I
the old
think
days.
most-
You would see those show would release a season pass that you could watch it digitally, but it was a ridiculous amount of money.
It's
It was
like $40 as iTunes.
Yeah.
I think it used to be.
Yeah, or iTunes would be like $2 or $3 in it, or $4 an episode.
Well, that's why.
Like,
yeah, these
saying.
are-
Who's going to do
Yeah.
that?
Nobody. Click. BitTorrent.
We do
TV's a
not.
weird thing to buy. There's only
We do
certain
not
shows
encourage torrenting.
Is what people do, I hear.
Yes, that's not something we're encouraging.
But, you know, some people do it. And
some people take
successfully.
part in a nautical lifestyle. Is peg legs.
Yeah,
And-
some people choose to do more.
yeah. Pirates
Yeah,
are
we
cool.
encourage
I
that.
mean, let's be
Pirates are-
honest.
yeah.
Everyone thinks pirates are cool.
Or we're just really into history. Like, it's
I mean-
a real thing.
Yeah. You think Mando would be paying subscription fees?
Yeah.
Chump.
We're not pirates. We're privateers.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. Anywho, what else we got? Anything? Are we done?
Nothing.
Done.
Haven't we done
That's it.
enough?
TV8MyDinner.com. Go to TV8MyDinner.com. Subscribe to Marvel Age Star Wars. Like the videos that you see there. That's all we ask.
Yeah, leave a comment so we know that what you think. I'd love to hear suggestions. We did get some suggestions and we followed them.
Yeah,
So
we sidetracked a little bit, but this is all the suggestions that we got. We did.
yeah, because
So-
that's what we're here for. To have a conversation with each other and with you.
Yeah, we're a prestige service.
Sup, Greg? How's it
How
going?
you doing?
How you doing? You got anything to add, Greg? You want to
No,
plug
good.
anything?
No, I don't. I'm not really hawking anything right now. So.
Hawking? We're not hawking.
Yeah,
I'll show you
standing
hawking.
on a street corner.
I'm not hustling right now. I'll just,
I will give away a half full can of Coke Zero to the first commenter. I don't know how I'll mail it. That's going to be complicated, but we'll figure it out.
That's not
The open
COVID.
can is
That's
what's
not
gonna
COVID
make it-
compliant.
Yeah, this
Oh, yeah.
may not even be
Don't mail a
legal.
can full of COVID.
I don't think it's legal, but I'll hand deliver it if you're in the tri-state area.
You're getting worse now.
Yeah, it's even less secure.
I will cough on it for you.
Yeah. I'll come get up in your face.
I'll send you a jar of eggs.
There may be fewer of them when by the time they get there.
They may or may
That's what
not.
you need.
They may or may not be the last of our brood. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, they're
Stop
pickled eggs.
standing
Yeah.
outside your house if you just like the video.
Andrew, you got anything to plug?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nothing to
Got
plug.
Got some watch-alongs coming soon.
Yeah, so we're working on that.
We're doing some
Yeah, that's a project
videos.
coming up. We'll talk about later when we get a
we'll
little
have some more
closer.
of that video business.
We need to build up some more material, but we got it. We're experimenting. We're in the lab.
You
Pouring
and I have
some chemicals.
different processes completely. One thing, and I'll put it out.
Our
don't
sets
care.
that you see don't look that fancy because all the money goes into our lab. It's very fancy in there.
Lap.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a bracelet that my
Everything
daughter
you
put
see
on
behind
me.
me
You're
was
probably
tested
wondering,
in
like,
our-
what is this? Why is he? My daughter put that on me, and I forgot to take it off.
Yeah, really.
I just one of the people like, man, what a hipster. What's
Did he
doing?
get let loose from somewhere?
Yeah.
That looked like
Is that a hospital band?
it looks like an ID bracelet.
It does. Okay, guys.
You're not
we'll
a
wrap it
super
up.
spreader, are you?
I'm not a
Yeah.
super nothing. I'm a super
Coke
nothing.
Zero over here. I'm a super nothing.
I'm a mediocre spreader.
This is not good. This is not
All
a good
right.
episode.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you soon next week for Mando episode 3. And also, we've got some Marvel Age Star Wars videos coming
Yeah,
that we're
some
editing right now.
Got another Star Wars one coming out, and then we'll get back to the comic later. But we have this, and some
So-
fun little video extras that we pop up on the channel that aren't strictly related to Star Wars, but we're trying to produce new material for you as we can. So check
Thanks
that
for
out.
watching, and we appreciate it. My name is Brooks.
I'm Sean.
I'm Greg.
Andrew.
And
The
this little-
faceless one.
Yeah, this little.
Mando.
Can we get an actual video of Mando, because he can't see his face, just have his head moving like he's talking? And
No,
put
I
that down for...
grabbed a couple of gifs of Boba Fett, if the head moving, you could just put it over the top
yeah.
of it. Every time it cuts to me.
Is there a way
Done.
to affect that where it looks like a hologram?
We'll make it
probably
work.
could.
We'll make it work.
Okay.
Okay, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Snoop.